Hey YouTube, and welcome back to Beanie Games. Today we'll be continuing our series of videos on solving the Sudoku Puzzle Hunt. Once again, I'd like to thank Mark and Simon from Cracking the Cryptic for hosting the Puzzle Hunt. For those of you who have been watching Cracking the Cryptic this week, you may have seen Mark go through the hunt and discuss some of the logic that was required along the way. This was a great overview, and I appreciate all of the detailed clues that he pointed out along the way. Now, while the hunt may be closed on Cracking the Cryptic, I'll be continuing to make solution videos so that there is a walkthrough for those that would like a complete solve of each of the Sudoku puzzles. If anyone still hasn't tried the Puzzle Hunt yet, I strongly recommend you do so, and a link for this can be found in the description below. Now, let's get on to the puzzle. Last time on the channel, we were able to solve Hungry for Sandwiches, and we have the saved solution grid here. Once again, the next thing for us to do is to work out which puzzle we're meant to solve next. For those of you who have already discovered the theme of the puzzle and have worked out which puzzle is next, or if you've seen Mark's video and already know the next puzzle, feel free to skip ahead to the solution of the Sudoku. A timestamp should be available in the description below. Once again, we're going to go through the brute force approach for finding the next puzzle. Now, I've added the circles to our solution grid, and hopefully we're now going to be able to go through the remaining puzzles and work out which one is next. So first we can look at a raging temperature. Now, we've done some logic previously to show that a 1 must be this value on the bulb. This is going to contradict with the 1 that is in our circle over here. If the 1 and the 9 were going to be passed down to a raging temperature, this thermometer would have to have the digits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the 7 that would have been placed here is going to clash with this given 7 over here. So a raging temperature is not the next puzzle for us to solve. Similarly, we're going to use some of our previous logic that we've worked out to exclude forged letters as the next puzzle. So we've previously worked out that D and A must be the numbers 1 and 2 in some order. This is going to cause a problem with this cell over here. This 1 is going to be placed here, which is going to clash with either the D or the A. In addition, it's also going to clash with this thermometer, because there's no way that the 1 can be at the end of this thermometer. So forged letters, once again, not the next puzzle for us to solve. Now, hostile killer. The circled cells that we have here, well, there's a 9 up in this corner and there's a 9 down here, which are both going to be along this diagonal. Now, the rules for hostile killer state that each diagonal must contain the digits 1 to 9. As such, we can't have any repeating digits along a diagonal. So we're going to have a clash if hostile killer is our next puzzle. So once again, this can also be excluded. Now obviously we've just solved Hungry for Sandwiches, and we're not going to have enough digits for hypocrisy. As we've discussed previously, you're going to need 17 digits as a minimum to find a unique solution in a normal Sudoku. We've already solved It's Up in the Air and Lascivious Queens, so we're down to Overgreedy and Schismatic Nonominos. And we can see quite quickly that schismatic nonominos can be excluded because of this 9 once again in this bottom corner. That's going to clash with the given 3 in schismatic nonominos, so that cannot be our next puzzle. So Overgreedy is going to be the one that we're going to have to solve next. So I'll open that in a new tab. We should be able to now see that. And we should add the rules. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. The red shaded cells represent an extra region that must contain the digits 1 to 9. In addition, each other shaded region represents an extra region in combination with the red cells in its column or row, with the corner cells, these ones up here, belonging to each of the shaded regions. So this cell would belong to a yellow region as well as the blue region. And these extra regions all must contain the extra digits 1 to 9. Now, let's just insert our extra digits that we are given from our circled cells from Hungry for Sandwiches. So we're given 147, we're given a 1 up here, a 9 over here, and I believe there's some 9s in those cells, and that's what we've got. So now we can start working on Overgreedy. The first thing that my eyes are drawn to is this row here. We're given 6 givens, so we know that these red cells are going to have to be 7, 8, and 9, and that's just by normal Sudoku. The 9s that we're given here exclude 9s from both of those cells, and so immediately we get a 7, 8 pair and can place a 9 in this center cell. Now, this means that a 7 and an 8 cannot appear in any of the other red cells. Next thing I'm going to do is look along the center column. So we've got 5 given digits now, and we're missing the numbers 3, 6, and once again 7 and 8. Well, 3 and 6 are already in this middle box, so we can exclude those from both of those cells, and that's going to mean that we exclude 7 and 8 from these red cells, and we're given a 3, 6 pair. So there's no 3 or 6 in any of the remaining red cells either. So we're left with 1, 2, 4, and 5 for the remaining red cells, and that's going to solve our red shaded region. Now we can already remove the 5 from this one over here and this one over here, and we can remove the 1 from this one up the top here. In fact, this 1 actually has a lot of power, so because in the yellow region, which is represented by these 3 squares, these 3 squares, and these 3 red squares, we already have the number 1. So there can't be a 1 in this cell either. We can also use this one for the blue region, which is going to be these 9 cells. And so there's going to be no 1 in this red cell either. So we've now got a 2, 4, 5 triple in the red cells, and now we only have 1 spot left for a 1 to go in any of the red cells. So we've got another digit. Now, there are probably lots of ways that you could next approach finding digits in this puzzle. I'm going to just look at this center 3 rows. We're going to look at the purple region in addition to each of the normal Sudoku boxes. So, where does a 1 go in this center box? Well, a 1 here excludes these 3, and a 1 here excludes these 3. This one obviously has excluded that one, and this one has excluded that one. So we've got a 1 to be placed here. Now we can look, the remaining digits that we need to place are going to be 2, 4, and 5. We've got a 5 here and here, which is going to rule out both of those options. And so we can place a 5 up there. Now, we can also look at what digits need to go in the purple region. So we've already got 1, 7, 8 in some order, 9, and a 5. So we're missing 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now we can see that the 2, 3 in this box is going to force a 4, 6 pair, and the 4, 6 in this box is going to force a 2, 3 pair. And these are going to be resolved by these 2 digits here. So we know that a 2 is going to be placed here, and a 3 is going to be placed here. 4 and a 6, which is going to resolve our 2, 4 pair in the middle. Okay, and so these digits here must also be either 7 or 8. And now we've made quite a lot of progress in the middle of the grid. So next I'm going to look at the middle 3 columns, this green region, plus, well, we've already kind of maxed our possible numbers in this center square, but hopefully we'll be able to solve or place some digits in the remaining squares in the green region. So in the green region we already have numbers 1, 5, 9 and 3 and 6 in some order. So we're once again going to be missing 2, 4, 7 and 8. So the 4 and 7 here are going to force a 2-8 pair up the top, and the 2 and 8 in this box are going to force a 4-7 pair. Once again, that's going to be resolvable by some of the givens that we have. So this 4 is going to resolve that one down the bottom, and this 2 is going to give us an 8 here and a 2 there. Now, we only have 2 more squares in this column, and they have to be 6 and 9. And in this column we have 3 and 9, which is also going to form a 3, 6, 9 triple in each of those rows. Now the next part, so we've kind of solved our green region, and we've solved our purple region. We've solved as best as we can currently our red region. So now we should work on one of our remaining colours, so yellow, orange, blue or grey. And I think just working through and placing the options in each of these cells is going to lead you to find the solution to this puzzle. So this cell so we can't have a 1 or a 2, we can have a 3, we can have a 4, can't be a 5, can be a 6, can be a 7, it can't be an 8 or a 9. Similarly, we can just use normal Sudoku to see that this can't be a 1, 2 or 3, we can have a 4, can't have a 5, can have a 6 and 7, we can't have an 8 or a 9. We could do the same for this yellow, these 2 yellow squares down here, so can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can have a 6, can't have a 7, can have an 8, but can't have a 9. And our last yellow cell can have 2, 3, can't have a 4 or a 5, can have a 6, can't have a 7, can have an 8, can't have a 9. And in fact, this 7-8 pair here is actually going to remove the 8 from there and remove the 7 from up there. Okay, now we can do a similar thing with the orange region. So 3, 4, 6 and 7 is all that's available in our row up the top here. You can see that we've got a 4, 6 and 7 already in this column, so this is going to have to be a 3. We can now remove the 3 from the yellow region over there, and this is going to have to be a 4, 6 or 7. And can't be a 7, once again due to a 7-8 pair down here. This is going to give us a 4-6 pair in the top row, so we can place a 7 here. This is actually going to have a big effect, because now we can look at this yellow region and see that this red cell can now no longer be a 7, because of this 7 over here. So we can now place an 8 here, 7, and that's going to resolve all of our 7, 8 pairs. Okay, now this 8 acts on this yellow cell, and this is by our extra region rules. So this is now going to be a 6. We can now rule out a 6 from both of those cells, and we're going to resolve a 4 over here and a 6 here. So now we can't have a 4 in either of those cells, and we're going to be able to solve the rest of our yellow region. So this is going to be a 2, this is going to be the 3, and this is going to be the 5. These red cells both act on this red cell. This can't be a 2 or a 5 anymore, so now it must be a 4. Okay, so making a lot of progress. Now we have 2 remaining digits in this column, and that's going to be 1 and 6, which is resolvable by these digits here. So we can place a 6 here and a 1 there. Okay, now we can probably work on solving our orange shaded region. We've got 1, 4, 7, 3, 6 and 9, so we're left with 2, 5 and 8 to place down here. We can't have a 2 in this cell due to just normal Sudoku rules. This one can't have an 8, and this one can't have a 5. Okay, and that is currently that currently appears to be as much progress as we're going to get. So let's see if we can place any other digits in the grid. Well, it looks like where can a 4 go in this column? 4 has to go here, and so we're left with an 8 and a 9 up here. But this 3, 6, 9 triple is going to resolve that, because a 9 cannot be placed in this cell. So we get an 8 there and a 9 there. We're left with 2 and 3 to be placed in these 2 cells, and once again we can use this 3, 6, 9 triple to resolve that, because a 3 can never be placed here. So we've got a 2 there and a 3 there. This 3 is actually going to resolve this 3, 6, 9 triple, and that's going to work by the blue shaded region that we've got along this row. So in the blue shaded region we already have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, as well as the 9 up here, so this can't be a 3. It's going to have to be a 6, so we can place a 9 here and a 3 there. That's going to give us a 9 down here, a 3 there, and a 6 there. So we've got 2 more digits in this row. We've got a 1 and a 7, which is resolvable by these values down here. So we know this is the 1 and that's the 7. And now we've only got 1 digit left in our blue shaded region, which is going to be an 8. We can place that there. And that 8 is going to resolve our orange region down here. So by normal Sudoku, this 8 excludes an 8 from this cell, so that must be a 5. It's going to force that one to be a 2 and that one to be an 8. Alright, so we've now solved our yellow region, green region, orange region, blue, pink and red. So we're just left with this grey region down here. Now we've got 2 remaining cells up here. It's going to be a 2 and a 5, which are also resolvable. So we can place a 2 there and a 5 there. Okay, so we need 7 and an 8 in these cells, just by normal Sudoku in this box, which is going to be resolved. 7 and 8. By normal Sudoku, we can see that we're going to need a 4 in this cell here. By our grey region, we're going to see that we need a 6 in this cell, and we're left with 3 and a 9, which can be resolved. Okay, so there we have it. There's the solution to Overgreedy. Definitely a quicker solve than some of the other puzzles in the Puzzle Hunt. But once again, we're going to go through and save the grid using our snipping tool. Alright, let's keep a copy of that in our PowerPoint. Once again, get rid of those templates. Okay, and we're going to have to save our asterisk cells. As well as finding our hashed cell. So going back to our grid, we can see that the hash is in this cell here, which we can see is a 7 on our solved grid. So we can go back to our table, write Overgreedy, and place a 7 in our hashed cell. Our asterisks will once again come in handy later, and we will reach that point later in this puzzle hunt. Alright, thanks again for watching Beanie Games and solving the solving of our Sudoku Puzzle Hunt. And stay subscribed so you can find out when our next solution video will be on.